There was a time when Monster Jam felt dangerous, not necessarily because it was actually way less safe, but because you never completely knew what you were about to see. There were cars scattered across the floor, vans, buses, trailers, even different monster trucks laying all about in complete destruction. Drivers making something up because the obstacles they wanted to hit had completely been destroyed 3 trucks earlier. And somehow, when you watched it on television, the people calling the action made it feel like the most important motorsport event happening that weekend. And then, something along the way, Monster Jam changed. The cars disappeared, the course became heavily dirt-based, the trucks became cleaner, the brand became bigger, more focusing on the kids and family-driven events. And the television product that made a lot of us fall in love with Monster Jam disappeared with it. So the question I've been trying to answer is, when did Monster Jam actually change? Was this a single moment? Was it Feld? Was it a removal of crush cars? Was it just simply the safety? Or are we remembering the past through nostalgia and blaming modern Monster Jam for simply evolving? I want to dig into that specifically, and I don't think there's one answer, but there is a period where everything starts coming together, and strangely enough, the year I keep coming back to is 2019. But to understand why, we've got to go back farther than that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jammed Up Show. I am your host, Cooper Knuckles, and today we're going to be diving into where I believe Monster Jam changed. And when we all know it, if you look at anybody's comment sections when they start talking about the old style Monster Jam, a lot of the times you're going to see people saying Feld ruined Monster Jam, or Monster Jam completely ruined their sport. You will always see people say, bring back the crush cars. But I wanted to dive deep a little bit into this new style of content. I've never really tried this before, so let me know, comment down below if you enjoyed this video. And if you stick around for the whole thing, I appreciate you, and thank you for watching. So, in order to understand where it all started changing, we have to go way back to the Monster Jam we remembered. For a lot of fans, that's the mid-2000s through early 2010s. Those are technically could be decided as the golden years. And television was a massive reason why this era is probably everyone's favorite.
He's gonna go right after it. Here he comes. That thing is gas on it, baby. Man, oh.
Monster Jam started airing specials on Speed in 2003 and stayed there for about 10 years. Monster Jam itself says Speed era produced 258 episodes, with Scott Douglas, Ken Stout, and Mark Schroeder among the broadcast team. They weren't just showing freestyle clips either. There were racing broadcasts, world finals coverage, and the greatest racing shows, and even the year-end awards ceremony. Think about what that did psychologically. Monster Jam wasn't presented like something you brought your 5-year-old for a 2-hour on a Saturday afternoon. It was presented as a motorsport, as a well-greased, oiled machine motorsport.
How he saved that is unbelievable. And boom, on the throttle. Look at that glow of the disc on the front brakes where he uses every inch of his truck. He hits the retaining wall and says, if all fails, stab it, baby.
There was storylines. There were rivalries. I cannot say that word. Rivalries. There were analysis. They even explained what broke on the trucks, why one racing lane was faster, and they talked about what driver had done the week before. Scott Douglas could make a first-round Chicago-style race matchup feel like the freaking Super Bowl.
The final turn, they'll decide it at the Advanced Auto Parts finish line. Look at Digger Dig, and Dennis Anderson exacts a piece of revenge.
And I could preach that one, because oh my gosh, whenever you would hear Scott Douglas on the gosh darn television when I was 8 years old, waiting on the rodeo to get done so I could watch Monster Jam, and ooh, prime. It was peak. Yeah, you could say it was a masterpiece. You could say the greatest time I was ever alive. Take me back there, because I currently hate where I'm at. I want to go back to being an 8-year-old child watching Monster Jam on Speed Channel. I'm sure I'm not the only one. That's something I think we're missing when we talk about old Monster Jam. It wasn't just the crush cars. It wasn't just the trucks. It was the presentation. Everything surrounding the trucks told you this matters. And then everyone's favorite, Feld, arrived. All right, I'm just saying, no, I'm not dissing Feld in this video, okay? I just want to make that clear. I'm not going after anybody. I'm just doing my duty of reporting. All right, I'm a reporter now. What's up? Now, this is where the story gets interesting. Because in September of 2008, Feld Entertainment purchased Live Nation's Motorsports division. At the time, Feld said the acquisition, I think that's the word. Is that the word? Acquisition. If that's not it, I'm a swear. I hope that's it. It was the largest expansion in the company's history. And Kenneth Feld was already very clear about what he saw in Monster Jam. And that is families. And worldwide expansion. The company said it planned to bring Monster Jam and its other motorsports properties into more domestic and international markets. This was said by Racers X. Now, here's where I think people oversimplify the story. You can't just go around saying Feld bought Monster Jam in 2008 and Monster Jam immediately sucked, because that's objectively not what happened. Some absolutely legendary Monster Jam happened after Feld bought it. I mean, the 2009 World Finals. I mean, that's one of my favorite World Finals. I'm not even joking. I think I have it on DVD. A huge chunk of what many fans consider the golden era was technically already happening under Feld's ownership. So this wasn't an overnight corporation takeover where somebody walked into the office on a Monday morning and said, "Get rid of all the cars and make everything for toddlers. I don't like these sports fans. We're going after families and little Jimmy. I don't give a shit if they want to see some crushed cars. F them." No, that's not at all what happened, actually. Nobody said that. Nobody along the line said, F them. It all just happened gradually. And at first, some of the evolution was incredible. I mean, you can't lie. 2010 changed what Monster Jam could do. And on February 27th, 2010, Jacksonville, Florida, Cam McQueen in Nitro Circus lands the first successful backflip in a scored Monster Jam competition.
Special to do here.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Did you see that?
And this moment is important for way more than just Monster Jam history, because suddenly the ceiling changed. The glass ceiling, he shattered it. He's up. He's up. The ceiling is now 10 feet taller. For decades, part of the appeal for Monster Jam was, look at these enormous things crushing normal size objects, cars, vans, buses, and RVs. But now we're looking at a 12,000 pound monster truck doing freaking backflips. And crushing something wasn't the only spectacle anymore. You know, I mean, you can only crush a crush car so much, which I'm not gonna lie, I'll take it. I'm not the only one here who will agree. I will take a monster truck crushing a car anytime. I'll look it up right now. Here you go. Here's for you guys. Wow. That was nice. The trucks itself are now what makes it spectacle. And over the next decade, that basically is where the sport went. The New Yorker spent time behind the scenes in Monster Jam in 2023 and described today's events as much less demolition-style destruction and much more technical big air competition. Monster Jam officials themselves described the modern focus as a technical big air events. And honestly, the progress makes sense. Once drivers were able to do backflips in these regularly.
Regularly.
And then moonwalking became a thing. Bicycles became a thing. And throwing massive sky wheelies to jump them 50 feet into the air. And I mean, it just kept raising the limit. The limits were getting higher. You can't, I mean, yeah, you could put 6 cars in front of them and they jump right over it. And that's like, whoa. That's not the main objective anymore. We're trying to go bigger. And they just kept getting bigger, which is not a bad thing. But something was being traded away. Because dirt is predictable, a junk car isn't. You can engineer a dirt ramp almost perfectly. You can't completely predict what happens when a 12,000-pound monster truck lands sideways on a Buick that's already been hit 6 times. That unpredictability was a huge part of the old school monster trucks. So we all started seeing less and less crush cars, and we were all starting to understand, I see what's happening here. You're about to take me out back and shoot me, aren't you? You're about to old yeller me, aren't you? Then came another major transition. The end of the speed era. In 2014, Monster Jam moved to Fox Sports 1's, beginning a 5-season run that produced 139 episodes. Scott Douglas was initially still there, and Monster Jam brought drivers such as Dennis Anderson, Morgan Kane into the booth. Later, Ryan LaCrosse. I miss you, Ryan, if you're watching. Todd the Duke, Bryce Kenny, and others became part of the broadcast, which, if I'm going to be honest, I was not upset about this. I thought it was kind of cool bringing in drivers more and more frequently to get like their input on half the freestyles and whatnot. It was awesome. It was pretty cool listening to them talk. And I still think there was some damn good Monster Jam television during the Fox Sports 1 series. I can't tell you a bad Fox Sports 1 show episode at all. I love the Fox Sports 1. Even the truck that came with it, Cletus. Remember that one? Oh my gosh, Neil Elliott in Cletus, and then Colt Stevens in Cletus. It was such a great. Those were the two best drivers to drive it. It was awesome. And then in 2019, Monster Jam made another move to NBC Sports. I was working at the company at this time, and I thought it was extremely weird to put it on NBC Sports. At that point, I'm like, what? I've never heard of NBC Sports. I think they just tried something new. I don't know. I was like, oh no, we're going in the opposite direction here for the broadcast team. Monster Jam would spend 4 years across NBC, NBCSN, and CNBC, adding another 105 episodes. Then came MAV TV in 2023. Not gonna lie, when they went to MAV, I think I was sitting there going, I am not getting MAV TV. It looks like I'm never watching Monster Jam again. It was honestly a little like, this is my own opinion here. I thought MAV TV was a terrible idea. I don't know. I don't even know what MAV TV is. It was like, you have to get it to watch this? Nah. Go back to television. I think at this point I was preaching we need to go to YouTube because YouTube is the best spot for it. And look at that, they did it. And it just, I don't know, MAV TV I felt like was a weird spot to go for Monster Jam. I mean, I guess it made sense, but it's like, all right, everyone's got to get this now to be able to watch it. And while Monster Jam was technically remained extremely available, there's a difference between being available and feeling culturally important. Speed was the destination for gearheads. Monster Jam existed beside racing and automotive programming, and it felt like it was a part of that universe. That mattered. That whole thing mattered. You were in the right destination. You wanted monster trucks? You wanted motorsports? Boom! Here you go. It's all in one location, and Monster Jam just felt like a home. It felt like the perfect place to be. And at the same time, the audience was changing. All right, guys, listen. I'm not dogging any of you, but I'm just saying we got older. We grew up. And we can't be too upset with what we grew up with, all right? All right. This is probably the most important piece of the research I found, because we don't have to guess whether Feld intentionally wanted to move Monster Jam towards kids. They just simply did it. A licensed industry article from 2018 reported that since acquiring Monster Jam in 2008, Feld had worked to expand the brand from what we described as an older male skewing audience into a children's market. The same article talked about expanding Monster Jam into preschool production and specifically mentioned character-driven trucks like Wonder Woman, Earthshaker, and Megalodon. Opportunities for fandom both at the track and through merchandise. This was licensed global. And that's where a lot of what fans feel starts making sense. Because look at the trucks. A Gravedigger is an unbelievable, marketable monster truck. But Megalodon, that's a shark with wheels. Look at Zombie. You got the big old arms. And then you got Monster Bud, it's a giant dog. And then you got Thunder Roarus, who's a giant dinosaur. And then don't even get me started on Sparkle Smash. The kids are gonna love it regardless. Those are probably the kids' favorites, you know? And that's the point. The truck isn't simply a vehicle drivers compete in anymore. The truck itself is the character. And the character can live on a shelf, you know? And then that's when the toy business became massive. Monster Jam already had a long relationship with Mattel and Hot Wheels, so toys themselves weren't some brand new invention. I miss the Hot Wheels toys. I'm not even gonna lie. I miss them. I miss them a lot. But in 2017, Feld Entertainment announced that Spin Master would become Monster Jam's new worldwide master toy partner beginning in 2019 under the 10-year agreement. The goal was to dramatically grow the Monster Jam toy line, engaging new fans and allowing children to experience Monster Jam through everyday play. And that's not me saying it. That's the business strategy, and it worked. And am I gonna dog on them for doing that? No. Honestly, it worked because it did bring the sport to a lot more people, but at the cost of us. Because in April of 2026, Feld and Spin Master say they sold over 75 million monster truck toys since the partnership in 2019. That's a lot. 75 million. They've now renewed the partnership for another 10 years. So when the fans say it feels like Monster Jam became a giant toy brand, well, I hate to tell you, Jimmy, it is. Toys are selling like hotcakes. And that's obviously not all Monster Jam is, all right? Monster Jam is not just all toys and kids, but toys absolutely became the enormous part of Monster Jam, all right? I'm not going to say it didn't. And I will say, there is no evidence anywhere, all right? There's no evidence anywhere where Feld themselves said, take crush cars away because toys sell better. Nah, that's not what happened. I think what happened is bigger than that. Monster Jam was transforming from a monster truck promotion that also sold merchandise into a global entertainment franchise where the live motorsports, toys, licensing, and games and characters all feed each other. And in 2019 is where that became impossible to ignore because something else happened exactly that year. Can you guess it? February 15th, 2019, Monster Jam announced the free-standing cars will no longer be used as obstacles. They stated reasoning, safety. Safety reasons. Monster Jam said protecting fans, drivers, and crew motivated the decision. They also said crush cars remained an important part of the experience and that cars embedded into dirt can still be used in stadium events. And to me, this is a symbolic moment. Not because everything before February 2019 was perfect, and not because everything after February 2019 was bad. Look at what coverage is around that period. The family entertainment strategy is firmly established. The children's licensing strategy is expanding. Spin Master's new toy era begins. The speed years are long gone. FS1, out of here. NBC begins. And the classic freestanding junk cars officially disappear. That doesn't prove all these decisions came from the same meeting, because they didn't. It literally just slowly made its way to that point. But culturally, 2019 feels like the dividing line between two versions of Monster Jam. Before that line, the remnants of the old monster truck world were still clearly visible. Then after it, you were firmly inside modern Monster Jam. Now, and this is where a lot of people also will start asking the question, did Monster Jam become too safe? This is another complaint. I mean, I hear it all the time. It's another complaint. Drivers don't tear the trucks up anymore. They shut everything off. All the damage is controlled now. And modern Monster Jam takes safety incredibly serious. Trucks have purpose-built roll cages, 5-point harnesses, and remote ignition interrupters that allow officials to shut trucks down remotely if necessary. But here's what surprised me when researching this, is that these trucks are still getting destroyed. Whoa! The New Yorker followed modern Monster Jam crews and described technicians repairing damages that can be catastrophic between events. So I don't think the correct argument is modern drivers aren't allowed to wreck anything. That's way too simple. The better argument is modern Monster Jam has become more controlled. The danger is engineered differently. Instead of unpredictable debris and junk vehicles, you have engineered dirt ramps, backflip ramps, high jumps, skilled competitions, and massive controlled launches. The drivers are doing things that would have seemed completely insane 20 years ago, but strangely, because we're accustomed to them, and sometimes they can feel less insane. A backflip used to stop the monster truck world. Today, you might see 5 in the same freestyle competition, and that's a problem with consistency raising the ceiling. Eventually, the unbelievable becomes expected. You know, is what's left? What's left besides a double front flip? I think this is the heart of the entire video, is what the old Monster Jam had that we lost. The old Monster Jam wasn't better simply because there were more pieces of metal on the floor. It just had texture. Every venue felt slightly different. Every obstacle reacted differently. Independent trucks felt different from the factory trucks. Drivers had personalities. The broadcast gave those personalities room to breathe. If Dennis Anderson broke something, you wanted to know what broke. If Tom Meents had a crazy run, the commentators explained why what you just watched was ridiculous. Even racing mattered. Freestyle mattered. World finals felt like the damn Super Bowl of monster trucks. And Monster Jam wasn't afraid to be a little rough around the edges. Modern Monster Jam is probably more professionally produced. The athletes can do things drivers 20 years ago would have thought impossible. The company is dramatically larger internationally, but professional and polished aren't automatically the same thing as memorable. Sometimes perfection removes personality. And I think that's where we all can agree that's kind of where we get lost in the sauce. But I don't think the golden days are completely dead. All right, I'm not going to sit here and say it'll never be the same. I mean, it won't, but it'll never not be good again. You know, it's still good. You know, we still get YouTube broadcasts daily. I don't think the Monster Jam golden days are completely dead. Honestly, I'd be lying if I said they were. I don't want this video to be a full-on dog fest. I'm not trying to dog on anybody. I'm not saying anything. I'm just simply stating fact on how the sport changed and we all just grew up. I'm not going to sit here and say everything sucks, bring back 2008, because we can't bring back 2008. It's frankly, we shouldn't. Safety has improved. Trucks technically have improved, and driver talent is ridiculous. We've never had it this good. Monster Jam is reaching millions of people around the world, and strangely enough, Monster Jam is currently doing a few things that give me a ton of hope. Because starting in 2024, Feld began streaming Monster Jam events live on demand through YouTube. Their announcement said that more than 350 live events annually would produce roughly 875 hours of Monster Jam content. And as of 2026, they're still streaming Monster Jam events on YouTube every weekend. It's huge. I'm not going to lie. It's what kept me up to date with Monster Jam, even after I left the company. When I stopped crewing and I left, I was still able to stay up to date with it. And I was extremely happy about that. It was awesome. We would have to wait for Speed to even edit the videos and get everything put together. But now we just get it live. We get to watch it live like we're there, and it's awesome. And there's another reason I'm optimistic. Independent teams still matter. Obviously they do. Monster Jam itself highlighted the success of independent operations in 2026. Team Scream, Team Throttle Monster, Send It Motorsports, Team Overboard, Tom Foolery Motorsports, MK Motorsports, and others are actively competing and winning in Monster Jam. That's good for the sport, honestly, because Monster trucks should never feel like 12 versions of the same corporate product. They need personality, they need families, and they need weird trucks sometimes built because they had a dream and probably made some terrible financial decisions along the way. That's monster trucks, you know? So how do we get some of the old magic back? Well, I mean, I don't think Monster Jam needs to become unsafe. I don't think they need to throw 20 random junk cars into every floor. I definitely don't think the answer is abandoning the kids who love Monster Jam. These kids are how this thing survives 30 years later. But I think you can serve those kids without threatening the entire audience like children first. Make the broadcast feel like a sports event again. Give me a dedicated play-by-play commentator. Give me an analyst who understands the truck. Tell me what broke. Tell me why the save was difficult. And tell me championship implications. Build the rivalries. Make a random Saturday event feel like something I can't miss. Monster Jam already has a live stream infrastructure. They already got it live streaming. Now give a live stream personality. Speed game Monster Jam 20 years ago. I feel like we could easily set this up remotely. Get some commentators while the live event is going on. You can easily do that. Hire me. All right? Hire me. Give trucks their personalities back. I'm not asking Monster Jam to ignore the safety recommendations, but find a safe way to recreate visual chaos. Embedded crush cars, purposely built crushable obstacles, buses, or specifically obstacles when the event can safely support them. I'm not saying do it now, but if we could find a way to do this, that would be really cool. So, are the golden days of Monster Jam over? Yeah, I think they are. I think they're gone. I think they're gone. We're probably never going back to exactly what Monster Jam was in 2006, 2008, and even 2010. And maybe we shouldn't. That version of Monster Jam existed because the technology, television, landscape, and economics and the culture of that particular moment. But that doesn't mean Monster Jam's best days have to be behind it. The trucks are more capable than ever, and we can watch almost every event live. Independent teams are winning. Millions of kids are becoming fans. And Monster Jam has something the old version never had. Global reach. What it needs now is some old soul. Give us the storytelling. Give the track some personality. Maybe the real problem isn't that Monster Jam changed. Everything changes. Maybe the problem is while Monster Jam has become bigger, safer, cleaner, more global, and more marketable, it forgot some of the things that made it feel larger than life in the first place. And if Monster Jam can figure out how to combine what it is today with a little bit of what it used to be, I genuinely believe another golden age is possible. It just won't look exactly like the last one. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we can live with that. So yeah. With that being said, that's all I have for you guys. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's my first time reading off of a script here. So if I'm looking down a lot in the video, I apologize. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. What did you guys think? Did I miss anything? Did I get anything wrong? I hope I didn't. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so glad to be back. The new setup is actually pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. You got me and Mason, my buddy here, Max D. This is in Houston, Texas. You got Thor's Hammer, Okaroon from Dan to Dan, Oliver Tree album, the Green Goblin that you can't tell, Deku from My Hero Academia. These are 2 beer cans. Can you guess the 2 beer cans? Somebody comment down below what these 2 beer cans are, and I might give you a gift. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. And with that being said, bye.